Qasim, thank you so much for coming back. And it was just so incredibly compelling hearing your first-person account of the chemical attack and your pleas to President Trump to do something. And now he has. What's your response?
Thank you again, Brooke, for having me. I woke up for some reason. I couldn't sleep. I woke up. I saw a lot of texts on my phone. I saw the news. I cried out of joy. I jumped. I thanked God. I don't know. I was overwhelmed. We've been asking for protection. We've been asking for consequences for more than 6 years. And today, for the first time, it happened. For the very first time, we see Assad held accountable just for once. Held accountable for his crimes against humanity. I was overwhelmed. I felt grateful for President Trump. I felt grateful for the United States. I felt grateful for each and every person who lobbied and called and kept on talking until someone actually listened. I felt
Qasim,
very,
I understand
grateful.
though. I understand your gratitude, but still, you bring up Assad. He's still there, and the real question is, what's next?
You're right. You're absolutely right. Assad is still in Damascus. He's still ordering his troops to kill and rape and torture. He killed 500,000 people. He displaced 12 million people. He tortured thousands and thousands of people like we saw in the Caesar report. He raped thousands and thousands of women. He helped creating ISIS with his atrocities. He drove people to desperation to join extremist groups when they didn't find justice and they went after revenge. He displaced millions of people. He made Ilan al-Kurdi, if everyone remember that little boy who drowned at the sea, he made him drown, he made him run for his life, just like he made millions of Syrians leave their houses. We ask for safe zones in Syria. I was talking with my friends inside of Syria. Everybody kept telling me, please, if you're going to talk again, please, for the love of God, tell them we need safe zones. Tell them to stop Assad's airplanes from keep bombing us. Shortly after the raid on Assad airport, the Assad regime and the Russians launched many attacks all across Syria with aircrafts. And they target hospitals and schools and civilians.
No, and that's a huge piece. Let me just jump in. That's a huge piece of, I know the U.S. military is investigating whether or not Russia is complicit on this and whether or not they potentially dropped a bomb on one of these hospitals to cover up that initial chemical attack. But there are people in America, and I hear you supportive of President Trump, and so many people are, Democrats and Republicans, but there are also people over here in America who are saying, all right, so clearly President Trump is motivated by just, as we all have compassion for these just horrible images of these babies who were killed, but at the same time, this is a man who doesn't want Syrians to come into this country with this refugee ban. I want to just play some sound. Hillary Clinton weighed in.
We cannot in one breath speak of protecting Syrian babies and in the next close America's doors to them.
Quickly, Qasim, how do you see that?
With all due respect, I didn't see each and every person who was demonstrating after the travel ban. I didn't see you 3 days ago when people were gassed to death, when civilians were gassed to death. I didn't see you in 2013 when 1,400 people were gassed to death. I didn't see you raising your voice against President Obama's inaction in Syria that let us refugees, that made us refugees get kicked out of Syria. If you really care about refugees, if you really care about helping us, please help us stay in our country. We don't want to come to the United States. We want to stay in our country. We want to stay in our country. With all due respect, this is hypocrisy. If you really care, help us stay in our country. We don't want to become refugees. We want to stay in our country. Help us establish safe zones. Help us stay safe in our country. And if you just give me a few seconds just to tell President Trump once again, please, sir, what you did was amazing. What you did was a powerful message of hope for a lot of people inside and outside of Syria. Please don't stop on this. Please help Syrians stay in their country. Please establish safe zones. Please take out Assad air forces so they won't be able to commit more atrocities using traditional weapons. 500,000 people were killed with traditional weapons, just so people can know what we have suffered in the past 6 years.
Qasim Eid, thank you again. I appreciate it.